everyone, I'm Maki. The fourth and final episode of the talk show featuring Mitsuo Fukuda, director of the Seed series, and Satoshi Shigito, mechanical animation director, has been released. In this final episode, they discussed the meticulous retakes and special corrections made for the upcoming Blu-ray and DVD releases of Mobile Suit Gundam Seed Freedom, scheduled for release on December 25th. Their discussion highlights the dedication and passion that the staff has put into the Seed series and Seed Freedom. First, there was a question from the fans. Will there be a sequel to Seed Freedom? Mr. Fukuda replied, "If we can get a budget from the company, we can do it. Also, we would have to arrange the necessary personnel for production." It was a curt answer. Recently, however, the production of Freedom Zero was officially announced. At the time of this interview, it appears that Zero has not yet been officially revealed. The combination of not being able to disclose information and not wanting to falsely claim we are not making it probably led to such a common answer. Zero tells the story of events before Freedom, therefore it cannot be considered an accurate answer to the question, is there a sequel to Freedom? If Zero does well commercially, it's likely that a sequel to Freedom will be made. The production of Zero began as a result of fan support for Freedom. If the current enthusiasm for the Seed series continues, there is a good chance that a continuation of the story will be produced. Mr. Shigito posed a question to Mr. Fukuda. Haven't we already completed Freedom and ventured into another world? Can we think of these as separate circumstances? In 2024, Mr. Fukuda is working as the director of the robot anime Renderzeryu, while Mr. Shigito is involved in the mechanical design of the Code Geass series. This seemed to be a joke reflecting these circumstances. However, nothing definite was said. Are they involved in projects other than Freedom or Freedom Zero? Mr. Fukuda answered ambiguously. There is an element of flow in animation production. In the case of Seed Freedom, it was originally planned that Agnes would die and end the story. But that plan was changed because of the situation during production. Stories evolve based on circumstances. How would you interpret that answer? Are you already working on the next chapter of Freedom? Animation production takes a lot of time. In fact, if they intend to release the sequel to Freedom within 2 to 3 years, they would have to start working on it by now. It wouldn't be surprising to see a proper sequel to Freedom, which became the highest grossing movie in the history of the Gundam series. It more than doubled the record of the third Gundam movie, which secured the development of the series. Moreover, Zero is a revival of a project whose script was completed 20 years ago. Although this opinion includes my personal hopes, I think it's reasonable to assume that the sequel to Freedom has already begun production. Next question. What aspects did you focus on when editing the visuals for the Blu-ray disc? Mr. Fukuda replied, "We corrected scenes where the placement or movement of characters did not fit well with the composition of the screen and parts where the visual effects were not aesthetically pleasing." He then elaborated with an example. "I specifically wanted to fix the Zugok. I felt that the initial appearance of the water splash was a mistake. The relationship between the surface of the water, the splash, and the position of the Zugok wasn't visually appealing." Mr. Shigita talked about the design challenges. It was difficult to handle both the computer graphics models and the designer's drawings. We had to correct misunderstandings, that arose among the crew. There were two types of designs. On the set, the drawings by mechanical designer Kunio Okawara and the CGI models. In older anime, those who animated the characters or mecha often didn't look too closely at the design reference materials. Mr. Fukuda agreed, adding, "It was important to see how each animator expressed their individuality in their work. However, if this approach is taken too far, the overall consistency of the work is lost. That is why the director's correction instructions are communicated to each animator during production. However, it has often been said that it is better for animators to show their individuality. Drawings that were strictly faithful to the reference materials were sometimes even considered less impressive." Mr. Shigeta added with a slight chuckle. "There were times when I thought that as long as my drawings stood out, that would be enough." Hiromi Ikeya, who supervised production, also commented, "A significant factor may be that the director's numerous requests accumulated during the production of Seed and Seed Destiny. Recent anime works often emphasize overall cohesion. There seems to be less opportunity for individual animators to express their uniqueness. It seems that in Seed Freedom, the existence of both Tokawara's drawn designs and the computer graphics models, combined with the production team's collective mindset of striving to fulfill the director's vision, led to confusion and mistakes. It was quite a nuanced discussion. Personally, I didn't find any scenes particularly jarring when I saw the movie in the theater." Mr. Fukuda asked Mr. Shigeta a question about the Impulse Gundam. "In the scene where the Impulse Gundam combines with the meteor, you adjusted it so that the four silhouette's wings fold, didn't you?" Mr. Shigeta replied. "I asked the computer graphics team to make that adjustment." Then Susumu Fujita of the computer graphics team commented, "Actually, Mr. Shigeta had made that request even before the movie was released. But when the request came in, it was only 2 days before the deadline, so we couldn't implement it." Mr. Shigeta further explained, "I thought it would be better to fold the wings of the Impulse Gundam. Leaving them spread out horizontally would affect the sharpness of the visuals. I wanted the design of the meteor to create a beautiful flow from the front to the back. Back in the days of Seed and Seed Destiny, I regretted not being able to fold the wings of the Justice Gundam. Due to the nature of the design, I had to accept that the wings of Justice Gundam couldn't be folded. But with Impulse Gundam, I thought it would be possible to fold the wings. For hand-drawn animation, it would have been easy to fold the wings. But with computer graphics models, it was a challenge because the data had to be modified." Mr. Fujita added, "Originally, the wings of Impulse Gundam did not have a folding function. We added the ability to fold them specifically for the Blu-ray disc visuals. Originally, the wings only had the ability to fold down from a horizontal position, but the function to rotate them backwards was added. There was a protrusion on the inside of the wings that hindered the rotation, and we had to fix that part." Mr. Fukuda noted, "These small details often go unnoticed." Mr. Shigeta replied, "A good work can't be born if you stop it. It's not in the original specifications, so we won't do it. I think it's important for animators to pursue such elements. The wing folding function of Impulse Gundam seems to be a crucial design element. For those interested in mechanical design and skilled in customizing gunprep, creating and comparing two different patterns could be an interesting project." As for the wings of Justice Gundam, it's likely that the folding function was omitted to allow it to carry other mobile suits. Next question from fans. How many scenes were corrected for the Blu-ray disc? Mr. Fukuda, remembering, said, I think it was more than 350 if you include the minor details. The movie has about 2,000 scenes in total, so we ended up correcting about 10% of them. Mr. Fujita added, it wasn't just about fixing small mistakes. Each team also took the initiative to make their own corrections. Mr. Shigito shared his thoughts. Even now, I can't look at it without feeling uneasy. I inevitably watch it from the perspective of a co-worker, not as a spectator. Mr. Fukuda commented, but I think it's fair to say that it turned out beautifully. Mr. Shigita agreed, but also shared his personal feelings. Considering the time we spent, we finished a good piece. However, there is a personal desire to have worked on it more carefully. Mr. Fukuda asked Mr. Shigita a question. Are you saying that you wanted to supervise the direction of each scene yourself? Mr. Shigita replied, if it were possible, I would have liked to produce it that way. The topic of cinema concert was raised. A movie concert is an event where the audience can enjoy an orchestral performance while watching a movie. It's a mixture of stage arts such as opera and musicals, combined with animation. Mr. Shigeta spoke with enthusiasm. I felt it was an incredibly luxurious experience to be able to check the visuals while listening to an orchestral performance. Everyone in the room burst out laughing at Mr. Shigeto's choice of words, framing it as checking the visuals as a staff member would. It seems what was interesting was that he watched the film from the perspective of a production staff member rather than an audience member. It seems that both Sunrise employees and employees from other companies personally attended the movie concert. Mr. Fujita received feedback from fellow computer graphics artists he knew who said the movie concert was amazing. Mr. Fukuda remarked, we should hold cinema concerts in more places. We should actively promote them. It is also important for us to promote ourselves. Mr. Shigita laughed and said, if someone like me, a backstage staff member, shows up, people will just ask, who are you? Mr. Fukuda jokingly suggested, why don't you just draw something for them on the spot? Mr. Shigita replied with a touch of humor, I can't draw well unless I look at reference materials. It seems that Mr. Shigito isn't very confident about drawing on things like autograph boards. However, Mr. Fukuda praised Mr. Shigito's artwork. It was Mr. Shigito who worked on the second key visual. Mr. Shigito recalled the production process. Since I spent so much time working with the computer graphics team, I felt that I was losing my ability to draw effectively by hand. I felt that I couldn't draw Freedom's face properly. I almost started to dislike Freedom a little, he joked. Finally, Mr. Fukuda expressed his gratitude to the fans. Thanks to the support of all the fans, we were able to create the special edition visuals. I would like to express my gratitude. While it's true that creating works is a business and a job, listening to the fans' words gives a strong feeling that it's not just business. It evokes the feeling that we are making these works together with the fans, not just with the staff and company members. This realization brings a bright and joyful feeling. When you create with that mindset, light and refreshing stories naturally come to life. The release of the Blu-ray disc is a milestone for Seed Freedom. However, something may happen in the future. When the time comes, I hope for your support. Mr. Shijita also shared his comments. We did our best to improve the quality of the visuals. When you receive the Blu-ray disc, I hope you watch it again and again. As a member of the production staff, there's still a lingering feeling of wanting more. Declaring we've done it all makes it hard to create new works in the future. We often hear fans say I'm just happy to have seen a Seed movie. Honestly, I never thought I'd make a movie after 18 years. In Seed Freedom, the computer graphics team achieved results that exceeded my expectations. On the other hand, it meant that my work as a traditional hand-drawn animator was reduced. But seeing the fans enjoy it without any stress made me realize that it was truly a wonderful thing. Please watch it as many times as you like until you're satisfied. And with that, the program ended. Personally, I felt that Seed Freedom solidified the overall direction of the Seed series. The Gundam series often includes works that end on a somber note. However, as Mr. Fukuda mentioned, the feeling of creating the story with the fans can lead to brighter and more uplifting endings, becoming a defining feature. I will continue to support the development of the Seed series in the future. Thank you for watching to the end. See you next time.